Hi ladies, hi Facebook ladies, welcome, hi YouTube ladies, welcome to today's live broadcast, Asking Without Demanding, how to ask for what you want without sounding demanding. And so now I'm really excited about having this conversation, and I'm really going to welcome and invite you to please post questions in the thread, because it's really great when I have this opportunity to go live and coach you, because you can get the answers to your most burning questions, and I love to do live coaching in the moment. And so please, if you have questions about this topic or something else, this is the perfect time and place to ask me. You can ask me anything you want. And I'm just waiting, and I'm watching the YouTube live button just spinning and spinning, and I don't think that, Connie, hi, welcome, I guess it is on. It doesn't show that it's working on my end. Can you see me, Connie? Hi ladies on Facebook, thank you for being here. Hi Latoya, hi Nancy, hi Linda. And I guess Connie can see me. Maybe you can say yes or no, Connie, if you can. Welcome. Okay, let's dive right in. So, asking without demanding. I think that historically it's been very hard for women to ask for what they want. And that has a lot to do with maybe there was a time when somebody told you you didn't have a voice, you couldn't have an opinion, and you couldn't speak up. And I think that comes from, our childhood. A lot of times we're told that by our parents to only speak when spoken to, or I don't want to hear it right now, your opinion isn't important. And so we start to develop this belief that we can't ask for what we want. And then there's a lot of fear, because the fear is tied to the validation. And darn, I just can't see anything happening over here on YouTube. I'm not sure why this isn't connecting. So, oh well, I'm just going to keep focusing on Facebook, and hopefully we'll upload this to YouTube later. Okay, so yeah, so a lot of this is conditioned. We get conditioned to believe that we can't speak our truth and without demanding it, or maybe that's the way you got your needs met. I was raised in a big Italian family, and the way we got our needs met is by yelling and demanding, and that's how we got our point across. And I learned that from my mother, and so I carried that into my adult life. And my kids actually had a joke that I thought was kind of cute a long time ago, but now when I look back, it actually wasn't funny at all. But they used to say, you've seen that t-shirt, I yell because I care. So I would really demand in a loud voice when I wanted something done, because that's the way I learned to communicate. And we would talk over each other, in fact, growing up. So it's very dysfunctional when it comes to relationships, and it's very dysfunctional when it comes to men. And so how do we ask for what we want without sounding demanding? Well, there's two things I want to give you is, thank you, is that it's your tone of voice is really important, and it's also your choice of words. And so tone of voice is really important. So this is something you just want to practice until it becomes natural. I didn't used to have the right tone of voice because, and here's why you might be challenged, I had a lot of resentment that was running under the radar. And so when I would say something, the tone was laced with the resentment. And so it always sounded demanding. And because I might have been repeating myself over and over and over and not getting what I wanted, but continuing to sound like a broken record. And so then that would actually make you want to stop asking for something, right? Because you're not getting what you want. And then you sound like a broken record, and you feel like you're in this tug of war. Now you want something. He's resisting because it feels like an order or a demand, and he doesn't want to give it to you. He wants to give it to you when he feels like giving it to you, and which is going to be on his time. I'm going to try to reload my stream on YouTube. So choice of words and tone. Tone is so important, and I've really worked on this skill, and it's something that you teach yourself, right? You can learn from me, and you have to practice it. And so I've been practicing using the right tone at the right time, the right way, with the right person. And so it takes mastery. It takes a lot of practice. And what really helped me, and really encourage all of you to really do this, is you have to work on the inner dialogue. What's happening on the inside is coming out on the outside. So what was going on with me internally was this struggle, a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of unprocessed rage from my childhood. So that came out in my tone, and it came out in everything that I did. So in order to really become a great communicator, because communication is the best lubrication. So for relationships, I'm telling you, so communication is the best lubrication for relationships. So if you really want to have a wonderful relationship and a great dating experience, it would behoove you to become a master communicator. And in order to do that and ask without demanding, is you need to work on the inside, what's happened on the inside showing up on the outside. And so that's one thing I always want to bring that forward, because that's what I'm most passionate about, is teaching you all how to have more healthy, functional relationships, starting in the dating process, when you get inclusive, moving into being engaged, and then married. And of course, you really need this skill when you're married, because I've been with Michael for 7 years, and our relationship continues to flourish because I know that communication is lubrication. So I am watching my tone and my choice of words with him, because one, I respect him and I want him to respect me. And if I know that if I ask it in the right way, I'm more likely to get it than not, right? I've learned that. So one of the tips I'll give you today, and then I would love to answer any questions, is using I language. I. So especially if you want something from a man, so you could say, I feel. So women feel, men think. So I would love you to use I feel, I language. I feel like having pizza tonight. What do you think about that? See, what do you think about that? Can we get some pizza? So I feel like having pizza. What do you think about that? Or I feel tired today. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna have to take a rain check on our date tonight. What do you think about that? So that's something. So how do you ask for something you want? So say you want more time with a guy. So I would love to have examples. Hi, Michelle. I would love to have examples. If any of you have questions or an example of something that you want to ask somebody, but you're not sure how to proceed, this is a great time to pop a question in the comment box so I can read it and answer it for you. So the way you could ask a guy, I'll come up with a couple for you. The way you could ask a man that you're seeing, just that you want to spend more time with, is you would actually highlight the things that you enjoy about spending time with him. So I would approach it as, I love it when when you come over. This is really fun for me to have you here. What do you think about coming over twice a week instead of once a week? And you smile and look at him. So this is after you had a really nice evening. And so you ask him what he thinks about it. And this is where you have to have emotional courage. You need to know, what does he think about that? And don't be afraid to ask it, because here's the thing. When we don't ask, when we don't say the thing, when we don't practice honesty, how can we move forward in life, right? So we have to say the thing. And so if we say the thing that is on our mind, but we're afraid to say, we're practicing honesty, and we're moving the relationship forward with more intimacy. So you set the bar, you set the standard that you want to have a more intimate relationship, a more honest relationship, and you're going to practice saying the thing. So if that means you want to spend some more time with your guy, then you need to articulate that. I wouldn't ask a man about, like, are we exclusive or anything like that. That's a whole different topic. So this is about asking how to get your needs met without sounding demanding. So any questions, ladies? Let me check out my thread here and see if anybody's got a question for me about this topic. And I don't see anything happening on YouTube. It doesn't seem like YouTube's really connecting today. So that's unfortunate. And I don't know how to fix it while I'm live, so I'm just going to let it go. So what else can I tell you about this? So yes, it creates feelings of vulnerability when we're asking for something that we want. We feel vulnerable, right? But, not asking is kind of playing it cool, but it's really boring when we play it cool, because life is all about creating more intimacy, more connection, more depth, And especially as we get older, we need more meaning in our life. And what brings more meaning is intimacy, vulnerability, connection. So that's what we're all seeking, right? We're seeking to be understood and to understand others as we age and start to contemplate the deeper meanings of life and give our life more meaning. So we have to step out of our comfort zone, which, by the way, our comfort zone isn't comfortable if we're not asking for what we want. It is really uncomfortable to live in that space. And so I really encourage you to use I language, to look at your tone, and to look at your choice of words. So timing is also another really important thing with asking without demanding. When your boyfriend walks in the door, the first thing you want to do is greet him, not ask him or your husband for something. You want to take that pause, acknowledge him in his presence, and then choose your time wisely when you're asking for something without demanding. Timing is really important in this. You know, when Michael comes home from work, I know to greet him at the door. I take his briefcase when I'm home. I get up, I go to the door, I take his briefcase, I put it where he likes to keep it. I give him a kiss and a hug. We move into the kitchen where we chat for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes about our day. And that's the routine that I can tell he needs that. As soon as he leaves work, I know his focus, stress level, just focused on work drops really low when he sees me, because I provide that soft landing for him, that safe space. And how I do that is I'm very careful about when I ask for something, timing. So I've learned that over the years, the hard way, through trial and error. So he comes in, greet him. I create that safe space where we have peace, we're talking, everybody's relaxed, and then I watch for the appropriate moment to initiate the conversation about something that I want. And so it works really well. Timing is everything. And then you can even ask permission. Hey, is this a good time to talk about the trip that we were talking about last week? Maybe he offered to take you somewhere and then he never brought it up again. So if that's the case, you would say, hey, is this a good time to talk about that trip that we were talking about last week? I kind of excited about exploring that conversation again. And that's how you would say that. So you can ask permission to bring something up, so that it's just a matter of respect. Of course you can bring something up, but if you ask permission, you set yourself up for success, because he might say, hold that thought. I actually have a whole bunch of information about it already for you, and I'm getting some stuff back in the mail or in the email or whatever. Let's talk about it tomorrow. So this gives him an opportunity to say, I'm really tired, I had a really rough day. Is it okay if we talk about it tomorrow? And then you're like, absolutely. But then tomorrow you have to say the thing, hey, is tonight a good time to talk about the trip that you mentioned that we were going to go on? So you want to hold his feet to the fire a little bit, right? If he said we're going to go on a trip, then he never brings it up again, those words and his actions are not in alignment. And when that happens, there's a problem, because we're always looking at their actions to match their words, right? And so the bigger problem, though, is you disregarding your own feelings around that, is you stuffing it down, pushing it under the rug, and not making your feelings valid. So if a man's suggesting that you do XYZ, it is important that you continue to get curious about it. Remember that word curious about what he's suggesting. Say, really, well, what would that look like? And just really become more curious about everything that's going on in your relationships, and come from a genuine place of curiosity. I mean, you really are curious. And when we come from a place of curiosity, it creates a safer place to explore what it is, the thing behind the thing, what's going on, without feeling feeling defensive, without the other person moving to defend themselves because they feel like they're under attack. So when you are curious, instead of asking a gazillion questions, but you're like, wow, I'm really curious about this, then they can answer it from a place of, oh, she's just needing more information, because that's really what it's about. You don't have enough information. And so Ladies, any questions here? This is a very quiet live broadcast. And you know what I would love from any of you watching? I would love to hear about your success stories. If you have had a success from watching my videos or reading my blogs on my website, I would love to hear about that. That just makes my heart sing when somebody sends me an email that says, hey, I applied your strategy that you talked about. It was really timely and XYZ happened. I love to get those wins, and they really fill my cup. I really would love to hear from you. So if you had a win associated with some of my trainings or anything, or things you're moving forward because you've been following me, give me a shout out and hit reply to one of my emails and tell me, just a little paragraph, a little nugget on how it's going for you. I would love to hear about it. And so if you're not on my mailing list, you can just go to engagedataanyage.com and subscribe to my blogs, or download my free ebook, or sign up for one of my quizzes. That'll put you in my database, and then you'll be getting an email from me, and then you can hit reply to one of those emails. So, okay, ladies, what else do I want to talk to you about? Another thing, I'll leave you with this since I don't see any questions and YouTube isn't really connecting right now, is clarity. Before you ask for what you want, make sure you know why you're asking, because he might ask you, why do you want that? Or is it a need, or is it a want? Another thing is, a lot of things we ask for, is that a need or a want? Be clear on that, because it does make a difference. Like, I want to go to Bali. Do I need to go to Bali? No. I want to go to dinner tonight. Do I need to go to dinner tonight? No. So, it's like, I don't really need to go out tonight, but I would love to go out and not have to cook dinner. What do you think about that? So it's not a need, but it's a want. So you can get what you want and need from men if you approach everything with a feather, not a hammer, and with the right tone. Choose your words and timing carefully, and get clear on why you want to talk to somebody, a man, a friend, about something before you do, so that you stay with the concrete details of the conversation. Don't go into the past, or you always never. Make sure you stay with the now and the one topic that you wanted to talk to them about. The biggest mistake that people make is they go, okay, we can talk about it, and then they bring up all these other things that have nothing to do with the one thing. And that's called scorekeeping, and it's really toxic for relationships, friendships, close relationships, because it's like that's a resentment that you're holding on to. And whose responsibility is that? It's yours, because if something happened that you didn't communicate back to that person you're in a relationship with, then that's on you. So when something happened, my rule of thumb is communicate about how you're feeling about it within a week. Anything after a week, it's over. It's in the past. So make that your rule of thumb to live by. It really works well. And that puts a lot of pressure on you to take responsibility for how you feel and the things that come up in your life, so that you address them. Be the authority, right? Be the author of your life by making your feelings the most important thing. Your feelings are your guidance system. They tell you what's going on internally, and they let you know through your feelings where you stand with things. So if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling sadness, if you're feeling frustration, disappointment, any of those things, you need to get really curious about it before you talk to somebody, so you get that clarity that your feelings can bring. Also, if you don't get the clarity that your feelings can bring, the feelings will turn to the emotion, and then the feelings get blown out of proportion with all these emotions, and then it turns into all these emotional blocks, because you never really took time to process the initial feeling initially, which might have been anger. So anger comes in and you feel, oh, I'm really angry. But why are you angry? And instead of really resolving it inside of you, what am I angry about? Oh, I'm angry he didn't call me back. Okay, so because he didn't call me back, and then I feel angry and I feel disappointed. So you honor your feelings by acknowledging that they even exist. What happens if you don't acknowledge them and validate them, give value to them? You go into thinking about them. As soon as you stop feeling and start thinking, those are the emotional blocks. You can't think your feelings. You either feel them or repress them with thoughts. And so when you repress your feelings with thoughts, the anger is unrepressed. It's still inside of you. And the first person that comes along, is going to trigger that anger, and instead of it triggering it at a 1, it's going to go to a 10 because you've got it, you've repressed and minimized your feelings. You haven't given value to them, and you started thinking them instead of feeling and releasing. Once you feel and release, then you've cleared out that space, and now you can be more objective about how you feel and what you want to do or not do going forward. So there's so much value in processing your feelings. And definitely process your feelings before you ask for anything, because a lot of times what we're asking for may be coming from some unconscious trigger that's driving you unconsciously to act out without really analyzing and processing what, where it's coming from to begin with. Like where's driving that? What's driving that need to have that talk? So you really need to get clear, because men like concrete details. They want to know, boom, boom, boom. Exactly. What do you mean? When did it happen? Give me an example. That's what men are going to say. And if you don't have that concrete details for them, they're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you're going to sound like you're demanding or nagging or picking on them. So, and I've learned this through trial and error. Again, it's like I've been asked, what do you mean? Give me an exact detail. Give me an example. When did that happen? And I was like, I didn't really have all the details, and I hadn't really thought it through. And then it was on me, and I caused distress in my relationship. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, ladies, I'm sorry about the YouTube. I don't know why, ladies, that it didn't load and the recorder's not working, but I'm so happy that I got connected with my Facebook ladies. And I'm going to post this on YouTube if it doesn't show up in a little while. Remember to hit reply to one of my emails and give me a brag. Share a big win with me. Anything about a video that you watched or a strategy that I talk about and how that's helped you and where you are in your relationships. If you're having relationship success, I would love to hear about it. Okay, ladies, I will see you next week on my live broadcast, 3 o'clock, right here, YouTube and Facebook. Sending you lots of love. Get out there, take bigger risks. The bigger the risk, the bigger the gain. And don't forget that good communication is great relationship lubrication. All right, love you all. Bye.